time of year, February 2018, and it's the launch of the pricing for photographers. How much should you charge blog post? And that's what we're talking about today in this live broadcast. Hey, if you have not subscribed, make sure you have, and together we can help improve the industry the best that we can. Look, there are a lot of photographers out there, and there's some good information in this blog post that'll help you go through this really tough process. It is now, I started this in 2013, and I did it 14, 15, 16, 17. We're now in 2018, and it's 19,000 words. And before I get into this, I want to share a little bit of an oops that I've done before. And that is I went live with this topic on my other channel. I was thinking I was talking to you guys here. So I talked pricing for photography 2018 solidly for about 10-15 minutes on the other channel. Poor folks. They're looking for marketing and social media and digital marketing ideas there. So that was funny for a moment. Anyway, so let's get into this. It's an important topic, and I want to share some of what's going on over there. I'll put a link to that blog post in the comments, and you can head on over there, take a look. You can leave comments there, you can leave comments here. But let me say this, I need your questions because your questions help fuel next year's 2019 version of this blog post. I hope to get to 10,000 words this year, but I only made it to 9. There's another 1,200 extra words plus rewriting the original post, and some parts are still the same, but for the most part, it's a new piece all the way through of an updated and good information over there. So what are some of the things we talk about in this post? We talk about one, how to approach, where's our industry now as photographers? Where is our industry? What should we be looking for? How should we approach pricing in our business and so forth? And I get into that. I also get into, of course, talking about copyright. I also get into talking about the different types of photography and maybe some of the best ways to approach pricing. I do give some pricing ranges that I have seen. They're anecdotal. Obviously, it all depends on really, where you are. I mean, there are a number of factors that truly affect the pricing. One, where you live, your production. Some people, one-person show. Other people have a whole crew, and there are different reasons to go either way. Obviously, if you have multiple people in a crew, you need to be able to cover their costs too. But it also gives confidence to maybe larger organizations that, look, these are professionals. This person knows what they're doing. They have a whole team of people, and that's the confidence they need to feel like they can get the job done and they're willing to pay for it. And that's the branding element that we often talk about, the difference between one photographer charging one price and another photographer charging another price. It's the brand, it's their reputation. That is a big part of it. And if you understand that, you're really ahead of the game. And I certainly talk about in this article, cost of doing business, which we talk about in this channel all the time. I most certainly have a number of the videos that we have on this channel in the article. I incorporated more videos. I thought about redoing the pricing for photographers webinar that I had done a couple of years ago. And I got to tell you, I like it the way it is. It really, I didn't think I could do a better job. So I just broke up the newer pieces. Maybe I'll try to tackle that next year and do another half-hour, 45-minute seminar all in one. But I really thought it had a lot of good. So really, it was a one shot. It just went straight on through, and I felt like I did it justice. So I didn't think I could beat it. So, some of the questions that I get from people quite often are how to deal with per image pricing, which many of you know I'm a champion of. However, that's not the only way to price. And I talk about the other ways that you can price besides per image. Obviously, there are hourly rates and, obviously the way you can approach licensing and all that stuff. Hourly and expenses, you name it. I have all these combinations of things that you can do, the ways you can approach pricing. But per image pricing, I think, is so helpful because it takes the value of the image and it takes it off of your time and puts it on the value of the image. That's more important. Your time is, I look at it as an internal number. It's an internal number to help figure out how much you should charge, but that's not the way you should be charging customers, except for in some situations like events. I think that's pretty okay for events to charge hourly or day rates. But for other types of photography, I like per image because, look, if you have an all-day shoot and someone says, oh, you know, we need 10 images and we're going to shoot all day, great, and you get done by 1, what do they want? A discount, right? They want a discount because you did a great job and you were done by 1 and they got exactly what they wanted, but you put the value on the time. And so you can say, well, you booked me all day, you got to pay the whole amount. Now they feel cheated. Are they going to call you back again is the next question. So when you do per image pricing, you get done at 1 o'clock and they get their 10 images and all is well. If you did another 5 images for them, then you get paid more. But if you did a day rate and you did another 5 images, you get the same number. But not only that, you have 50% more work on the other end that you're not necessarily getting paid for, unless you combined other fees, which is a realistic idea, that you can combine other fees with that rate to make sure you cover yourself. And again, there's nothing wrong with that at all. What are some other things you can do? Well, you can certainly consider the types of photography you're willing to do, and you can create a little cheat sheet to make sure that you know what you need to charge for different types of photography, especially photography that you normally don't do. And this is where we often, including myself, get myself in trouble all the time. And that's why I have a team of people. I mean, I write about this, we talk about this here, but believe me when I tell you that I also run into situations where I don't know where to start. Well, I know where to start. I hand it off to some of the other team members and take the emotion out of it because I really want the job. And the more I want the job, the more I should not be pricing it. It's just the bottom line. So my team says we want to make money. So let us figure it out. Then we can talk about it together. But there once in a while you get these jobs that are come around and say, I don't do that very often. What do I do? Oh yeah, I have a list of what I should charge. And we often find ourselves in trouble because we're not sure what we should charge, so we just underbid it just to give them something. And that's what we don't want to do. We want to make sure that we come back to them later. We ask a lot of questions. The way to overcome the fear of not charging the right amount, the way we can overcome that fear is by asking the client a lot of questions. What types of images have you seen in my portfolio or online? What types of images do you want me to create for you? And if they say, well, there's that one image on, under portraits that I really like, now you have an idea of the production that's going to be involved to create the image that they want. That is always helpful. Now, you can always ask them, have you seen other images online? There are other certain styles that you're looking for. The more that you can ask, more questions you can ask, the more information you can get from that client, the better off you're going to be. Doesn't matter if it's a portrait, if it's a wedding, if it's a commercial shoot. The more questions you can ask, the better you can offer maybe the right package. And if you offer the right package of imagery or opportunities or production, they're more apt to feel like, oh, you were listening to them. And if you're listening to them, they feel like, yes, this is the person that's going to provide me with the right solution. And I think the biggest thing that photographers need to understand when they go into business is that hiring a photographer, unless somebody's worked with you before, is a risk. It's a big risk. Hiring a photographer is a risk. And so if you understand that hiring a photographer is a risk, you can then say, okay, what can I do to make working with me easier on them? What can I do? Is it providing the right information, the right portfolio, the right keywords music to their ears, whatever it is? What can I do to lower that risk? And that's one of the reasons why I like the per image pricing system, because it lowers the risk. I say I'm the low risk photographer. If you don't like any of my images, obviously barring special, fees that, maybe location fees or modeling fees or whatever fees that I have no control over. But a lot of times it's just my time, and I'll say, hey, if you don't like the images, you don't have to pay for them. Or I'll say you only have to pay for a minimum of 3 or 5 images. And if that's all that you like, then so that's fine too. But it also gives me the opportunity to reshoot and re-earn the trust of that client. And I found that to be the case too, where things didn't work out well, but I had a second chance because they didn't owe me a boatload of money or something like that, and there's now no bad feelings. It all depends on the client, depends on how quickly things need to get done, depends on the timelines. There's so many factors, as we all know. But when it comes down to getting pricing right, it most certainly is about asking the right questions. All right, so head on over. I'll put the link, certainly. RoshSillars.com is where this is posted right now, the 9,000 word post. And that's what we're talking about today. And all the information that I have in there, it's a standard that I share every single year. And I depend on your questions in this community to make that happen each year, because there's things are always changing. There are always new concepts and ideas, and the state of the industry is always adjusting, and so we need to adjust with it. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Keep updates. You'll make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified when I go live, of course, and when I upload.